Hey, what's going on, everybody? Commander Crane, and oh my goodness, we just got a huge amount of cards that were spoiled for this next set. So we've got a lot to talk about. We've got some battle cards. We've got some of the Commander Precon cards. We've got a lot to talk about. So we're going to hop right into it here. Once again, as always, it's spoilers. If you don't want to see them, don't click on the video. Well, at least go further in the video. Sorry, we're hopping into it here. Our first card here, just an uncommon. It's a Merciless Repurposing. 6 mana, instant. Exile target creature, incubate 3. Incubate's a new mechanic. Incubate is create an incubator token with 3+1/+1 counters on it, and 2, transform this artifact. It transforms into a 0/0 Phyrexian artifact creature. So we have both the tokens here. So essentially, tap 2, transform it into a 3/3. Seems like a pretty good mechanic. Card seems like a good uncommon. Exile a dude and get another dude. Pretty easy overall. So, seems like a cool card. We'll see where this mechanic goes in general, but I think it could be pretty interesting. Then we have Skitherx, the Blight Dragon, which is very off-centered, but we're not going to go too much into detail on this. This is one of the new showcase art cards for the set. This isn't a brand new card, so I'm not going to really go through it here, but very cool new alt art. We have another siege, or another battle, Invasion of Urgamon. Red-green, just how we like it. As it enters, choose an opponent to protect it. You and others can attack it. When it's defeated, exile it, then cast a transform, meaning you have to do 5 damage to it. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Then you may discard a card if you do draw a card. Unfortunately, we don't have the backsides to these yet, but we do know it's at least a 3/4 creature. So, I'm a big fan of this card. 2 mana, make a treasure token, get something better, as to devotion, potentially. I'm a fan. We'll see how good the flip side is, though. Next card, Invasion of New Phyrexia. Oh, that's like an Avengers-looking moment right there. So it's blue, white, and X siege. This is a mythic siege. Has the same, text where they go into play, on the opponent's side. When Invasion of New Phyrexia enters the battlefield, create X 2/2 white and blue knight creature tokens with vigilance. Interesting. You have to do 6 damage to it, so I'm assuming the flip side's probably pretty good. Again, it's not a creature. No, there's not the power and toughness. So we know that not all of them are creatures. What it's going to look like, we'll see what happens, but that's what we got so far. Invasion of Aquaria, one of my favorite planes in Magic. Green X. When Invasion of Aquaria enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library, shuffle. It's an 8/8 on the flip side. Doesn't surprise me. Yeah, this card is gonna see play. I mean, it's a tutor, it's like not quite a Finale Devastation, but it's kind of like it. This card's gonna see a lot of play. Probably gonna be one of the pricier sieges. Probably my ultimate guess. So, but yes, big fan of this card. I'm very excited to see what the flip side is going to be of this card. You have to deal 6 damage to it, which, based on what the card does, makes sense. It's a very powerful card, so it would make sense that, it'd be a lot. We have Invasion of Ixalan. Those dinos, man, they are feisty. They are ready to fight those Phyrexians. So let's see what the card does. 3-1. When an Invasion of Ixalan enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Great card. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, 2 mana, put a permanent, so that's creature, that's land, that's artifact, that's enchantment, that's a battle card. We can put a battle card in our hand. Good card. Big fan of this. It'll definitely see a lot of play. And what I'm not sure, it transforms into a 4/3. Seems very Dino-esque. So we'll see where this card goes. I'm excited. Next card is Invasion of Fiora. It's 6 mana. It's our first black siege. 4 damage to be able to transform it. When it enters the battlefield, choose one or both. Destroy all legendary creatures. Destroy all non-legendary creatures. Reminds me of a Crux of Fate. It's a board wipe in black. Probably going to automatically be one of the better sieges in Limited for sure. Yeah, enough said. Again, don't have the flip side for it, but hopefully we do get it soon. Okay, so these are 2... They're both similar cards. I decided to put them in the same picture here. Unfortunately, probably can't see the Boonbringer Valkyrie very well, so I'll let you know what we're missing. So Archpriest of Shadows is 5 mana for a 4/4 with backup 1, brand new mechanic. When this creature enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. If that's another creature, it gains the following abilities until end of turn. So it has Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Solid card in general. Boonbringer Valkyrie. Fortunately, a lot of the text is missing here because I'm in the way. Darn old me. It's 3 white Angel Warrior with backup 1. Has the same, obviously it's Archpriest of Shadows. And then it has flying, first strike, lifelink, and it's a 4/4. So it's kind of like a Baneslayer Angel. You can put the counter on itself, and it's a 5/5 for 5 with flying, first strike, lifelink. You could put the backup counter on another creature, and they get flying, first strike, lifelink until end of turn. So, great card. I'm a big fan of Boonbringer Valkyrie. I think this card's going to be pretty solid. How much play in Standard, I'm not sure, but I really do like this card in general. You know, I'm a big fan of big, beefy angels, so I'm interested to see where this card's going to go. Then we have a couple of the commander cards. We have Brimaz, Blight of Oresko. So it looks like Brimaz was one of the, maybe actually all 3 of these are probably actually cards for the pre-constructed commander decks. So we're going to go over them real quick. Brimaz, Blight of Oresko, 4 mana, 3/4. Whenever you cast a Phyrexian spell or artifacts creature spell, incubate X, where X is that mana value. That's the one where we create the 2 mana artifact, and then we transform it, and then it gets X counters. At the beginning of each end step, if a Phyrexian died under your control this turn, proliferate. Cool card. I don't know if I said this disclaimer, these will not be standard, modern, and pioneer legal. Figured I'd mention that. Gimbal, Gremlin Prodigy, 5 mana, 4/4. Artifact creatures you control have trample. At the beginning of your end step, create a 0/0 red gremlin artifact creature token. Put an X1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of differently named artifact tokens you control. Interesting. Temur artifact deck could be very interesting, and it's a gremlin. I think that's probably our first legendary gremlin. Last card, Bright Palm, Soul Awakener, 4/3 for 4, backup 1. Not going to go over what backup does, we kind of already went over that. Whenever this creature attacks, double the number of 1/1 counters on target creature. That creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. Whew. Yeah, you're going to deal some massive damage with Bright Palm. You know, you get that attack trigger and just like, boom, you get the Colonian Hydra effect, and it can't be chump blocked. Yeah, that card's pretty good for tokens. So, all right, those are pretty cool cards. Let's move on to a couple more. We have Kasla, the Broken Halo, 6 mana, 5/4 with Convoke. It's an angel ally. Flying, Vigilance, and Haste. When you cast another spell that has Convoke, scry 2, then draw a card. Powerful effect. Unfortunately, this color combination doesn't have a lot of Convoke. Most of the cards are in white, but still, I think that's a very flavorful card for the Convoke. I'm a fan of it. Then we have Sidar Jabari of Zhalfir, 4/3 for 4 with Eminence. Eminence is returning when you attack with 1 or more knights. If it's in the command zone on the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Okay. Flying First Strike. When it deals combat damage to a player, return target knight from your graveyard to the battlefield. So immediately, there's a very good friend of mine, shoutouts to him, Wasteland Owl, that loves knights. He's going to be all over this card. So I just immediately thought of him. Very cool that Eminence is making a return. I like how they're bringing back a bunch of different mechanics. I think that's very cool. Yeah, it's cool. I'm a fan of this card. So, I believe this is our second to last slide we have here. These are some of the new, I'm forgetting the name of them, but it's like the remastered versions of the card. We have Elishnor Grand Cenobite, the original. Jin Gataxius, Core Augur, it's the original one. Niv Mizzet Reborn with a very beautiful frame. We have Emery Lurker, the Lock, pretty solid card overall. Kroxa with the brand new Constellation artwork. And we have the original Shieldred as well. Very good cards. I'm not going to read them because they are reprints. If you'd like to obviously read them, go ahead and pause the video. You can go ahead and read those. But yes, big fan of those in general. And we have a couple more here. Skitherex, which we already looked at earlier, but we have Vorinclex. Zada Hedron Grinder as an uncommon. I think that's our first uncommon one we've seen. We have Urbrest the Hidden. That's the original one. And we have Yargle, Glutton of Urborg in the down area frame. So very cool. So, We already saw that slide. This is our last slide here. So these are some of the uncommons from the set. So we have Botanical Brawler. It's a green-white 0/0 with trample. Enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. When 1 or more 1/1 counters are put on another permanent you control, if it's the first time 1/1 counters have been put on that permanent this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Botanical Brawler. Hardened Scales, first card I'm thinking of when I see this. I think it's going to be pretty good. We have Kami of Whispered Hopes, 3 mana 1/1. If 1 or more 1/1 counters will be put on a permanent you control, that many +1 is put on. So it has like the Hardened Scales effect. Tap, add X mana of any one color, where X is Kami of the Whispered Hopes power. Yeah, that can do some really stupid things with that. Then we have Norn's Inquisitor, 1/1 for 2. When it enters the battlefield, incubate 2. When a permanent you control transforms into a Phyrexian, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It works really well with the incubate cards in general. Obviously, transforms, you get a 1/1 counter on the Norn's Inquisitor. Also, Phyrexian Knight. Cool art, cool typing. Then we have Scrappy Bruiser, a Raccoon Warrior. 3/4 for 4. When it attacks, up to 1 target attacking creature gets +2/+0 against trample until end of turn. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the end of combat. Very interesting card. It seems pretty solid. Yeah, +2/+0 trample. I'm not opposed to it at all. I think that's a pretty solid effect. I like that card. 3/4 for 4. That's a pretty good rate. So I believe that's everything we have. Yes, that is all the spoilers that we have. Obviously, stay tuned. As soon as we get more batches of spoilers, and I'm going to be posting them here, so just keep an eye out for that. And I'll see you in the next video.